Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures down 0.08%, Dow futures down 0.15%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.06%. Markets have fluctuated as investors turn cautious before a policy decision from the Federal Reserve, while oil has extended a strong rally and treasuries remain steady. The latest statement from the FOMC is set to include updated projections for interest rates and economic forecasts. With inflation and economic growth rising higher this year, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and his colleagues could consider expediting a conversation on scaling back monetary stimulus and laying groundwork for the first post-pandemic interest rate hike as soon as 2023. The 10-year Treasury yield has leveled around 1.5%, and the dollar is edging lower versus major peers. Elsewhere in markets, the global benchmark Brent has reached near $75 a barrel after industry pointed to a substantial draw in U.S. crude oil stockpiles. WTI has climbed to its highest level since October 2018. Over in Europe, chemical producers led a small advance in European stocks, and over in Asia, China ordered state firms to curb overseas commodities exposure to rein in on soaring raw material prices, and copper has since reversed gains. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
You know, Shane, I've been watching the SPOOs all morning long, and they really have been in a very tight trading range and trading slightly lower this morning. This is indicative of, cautious trading ahead of a big announcement like we have today, later on today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm expected the market to kind of drift lower in front of that FOMC meeting. In my opinion, the Fed is all but certain to hold interest rates unchanged, and they're going to announce no changes to the asset purchases when that decision is announced at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. I'm a little concerned about its new economic projections that they're going to be delivering. I feel that the Fed can raise short-term interest rates to rein in inflation, but that would really be a bad signal. It's more likely that they're going to talk about near-term discussions about Fed tapering the big bond buying purchases that they're doing. They got to be really careful in their announcement, because any type of negative news could really cause a sell-off. And what one sector that is really cautious there is the tech sector, because any negativity is going to cause the tech sector to really push back hard. I'm looking over at the oil markets this morning. Oil's trading a little higher. I noticed that the American Petroleum Institute reported their inventories, and they showed that a draw of 8.5 million barrels happened last week. That's a strong indication that demand is coming back, and it's coming back fast. I noticed Goldman's continuing to expect oil prices to hit $80 this year. I think it's really overvalued at 80, but it is possible. I think these shale guys are ramping up to really start producing more oil, but we'll have to wait and see. But this summer, we're going to continue. It looks like we're going to continue to see higher oil prices. But you got to keep a watch on earnings. There's always some good earnings coming out, and that's typically my focus.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and jump into earnings to watch today. Bill, tell us how Oracle ended up doing.
Well, listen, Oracle is a very strange company when it comes to, delivering earnings. Yesterday they announced, and Oracle reported a 23-cent beat on higher revenue. However, their guidance was lower. They came in either guiding 94 to 98 cents, where the street estimate was $1.03. That caused the stock. I was looking at it earlier. It caused the stock to drop 4.83%, and compare that to our estimate of 4.84%, and it was pretty close. Oracle is weak because of that guidance figure. Lazy Boy, ticker LZB, Larry Zebra Boy, they reported a 13-cent beat on higher revenue, but they mentioned that there was some supply chain disruptions concern that they have going forward. They say they have a lot of things are on back order, but there's some cautious going into the next couple of quarters. I also noticed the stock traded a bit over 44 last night. H&R Block, that's ticker HRB, Henry Richard Boyd, they beat by 3 cents on lower revenue, but they raised the dividend. The stock was trading higher by 1% this morning, so that was a real positive.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Lanier, the home builder, that's ticker LEN. You really want to watch this one because they're reporting today after the close. EPS is for $2.36. We're expecting a 5% move when they release earnings. This is important because this is the first of the home builders. There's more home builders in the next couple of weeks that will be reporting. So you want to follow this one to get an idea as to whether these increases in commodity cost and building materials are going to start affecting home prices. Kroger, that's ticker KR, they're releasing Thursday morning. Their EPS estimate is for $1 per share. Anticipated move is about 5%. Adobe, that's ticker ADBE. Apple, David, Boy, Edward, they're releasing Thursday after the close as well. EPS estimate is $2.81, and you're looking for a 4.08% move when they release their earnings.
Moving into economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
There's a couple key ones at 8:30 this morning. 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we have housing stats and import-export prices. Then at 10 o'clock, you get a report from the Atlanta Fed on the business inflation expectations. At 10:30, this is a key one. This is the official EIA stockpiles report from the Department of Energy. If it shows a draw, which is likely because that's what the American Petroleum Institute showed, that would be very bullish sign for oil prices. But the big one, the one that everyone's watching for today, is the 2 p.m. announcement from the Fed. This is the FOMC meeting, and they're going to be giving details on their monetary policy. This is followed up by a 2:30 conference event that's being held by Jerome Powell. So these are the key events that are really occurring today, Shane.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Elanco Animal Health, ticker ELAN. The company has agreed to acquire veterinary biopharmaceutical company Kindred Biosciences, ticker KIN, for $440 million. Kindred's share price is up 44.32% in pre-market, while Elanco's is up 0.98%. News on Ford, ticker F. Lincoln, a subsidiary of the company, has announced plans to debut its first electric vehicle next year and intends to line up 4 different fully electric models. More electric vehicle news. UK government authorities are in talks with Ford and several other companies about establishing gigafactories to produce batteries for electric vehicles. Talks are still in the early stages, but Ford has indicated that it plans to produce batteries in the UK for the planned EV version of the Transit van to be assembled in Turkey. The company has yet to decide the location for its battery factory in the UK. A Ford representative said that it would confirm the battery supplier for the Transit closer to its launch in 2023. Ford's share price is down 0.07% in pre-market. And more EV news. General Motors, ticker GM. The company plans to increase spending on electric and autonomous vehicles to $35 billion over the next 4 years, a 30% increase from previous plans. The automaker plans to build 2 additional battery facilities in the U.S., the locations of which have yet to be decided. GM will also move ahead of some of its investments in electrification. And to note that CEO Mary Barra will be meeting with the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other key Democrats today to discuss electric vehicles and vehicle emissions. GM's share price is up 0.05% in pre-market. In other news, Arrival, ticker ARVL, is up 10% in pre-market following a 6% rally yesterday after becoming a main focus of social media stock sites. In other news, Chemours, ticker CC, has several companies seeking to bid for its mining arm that could potentially be valued at as high as $600 million. Such companies include Orica and Little John. In other news, HSBC, ticker HSBC, the company's asset management unit has reportedly formed a new alternative investment division called HSBC Alternatives. The new division, which reportedly has assets of more than $50 billion, will include teams from the bank's private debt, venture capital, and direct real estate operations. HSBC's share price is down 0.23% in pre-market. News on eBay, ticker EBAY. The company is in talks to sell its South Korean business to Shinsegae Group's eMart and web portal operator Naver for $3.6 billion. eBay's share price is down 0.02% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, one on Blackstone, ticker BX. The company is near to closing a deal to acquire Soho China in a transaction that values the real estate developer at nearly $3 billion. Discussions are in a final stage, and a deal could be announced as early as this week. Blackstone share price is flat in the pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts on Newswatch down into specific sectors. I'm looking at specific events that are about to occur, and I'm looking for specific industries in order to get in that hot news so I can really get in before the real price action starts to begin. I start off with my FANG alert, and there's Lena Khan, who's been a big critic of tech companies, is expected to be named the chairman of the FTC, according to multiple published reports. She's 32 years old. She teaches at Columbia, and she apparently was confirmed by the Senate on Tuesday, and now she's well on her way to obtain that role as chairman of the FTC. I look at Amazon. They've got a lot of news going on there. Apparently, Jeffries added Amazon to their franchise picks. They removed Google and they replaced it with Amazon. I look at Netflix. I see that JP Morgan feels that, the second half is really going to be good for Netflix. The stock's really been range bound since the Q1 earnings report. Their expectations for Q2 is rather low, but Q2, Q3, and Q4 should be pretty good because of the, content that they're going to be bringing out. I look at Apple, and I saw a journal article this morning saying that Apple's grand healthcare plans really have stalled, and that really, there's a lot of truth behind that. Going on to my Dow Jones 30 alert, ticker V as in V for Visa. Capital One and Williams-Sonoma has agreed to a credit card program, and what kind of card are they going to be using? Visa. Johnson & Johnson, that's ticker J&J, John, Nancy, John. The FDA announced that they are authorizing 15 million additional COVID-19 vaccines from the troubled Baltimore plant to be distributed. Nike, that's ticker NKE, Nancy, Kite, Edward. Earnings are out next week, and they're likely to be impacted from that April boycott that we saw in China, due to the cotton disruption that was going on there. So keep an eye on shares of Nike. It's likely to trade a little higher today. Their model is still good, but earnings are out next week, and I'm kind of waiting till after the earnings to add to the position. Walmart, that's ticker WMT, William Michael Tom. Their sale of the ASA group has passed a hurdle with by the UK regulators, so that looks like that's going through. Going over to the semiconductor industry, AMAT, that's ticker AMAT, Apple Michael, Apple Tom. Applied Materials has a breakthrough in chip wiring, which is enabling logic scaling to 3nm and beyond. I go over to option headlines today. B&G Foods, that's ticker BGS, Boy Gray Sam. The call put ratio is really elevated. We're talking 8.9 calls to every one put. Roblox, that's ticker RBX. They're going to be announcing their daily active users. And, I look at the call put ratio going into this announcement. It was 3.2 calls to every one put. And Corsair Gaming, that's ticker CRSR, Charlie Richard, Sam Richard. Call put ratio is 3.2 calls to every one put. It's kind of interesting. In terms of events that are coming up, AMC, that's AMC Networks, ticker Apple Michael Charlie, 10 a.m. They're having their shareholders meeting. Best Buy, ticker BBY, Boy Yellow, 10 a.m. They're having their shareholders meeting. Twillo, that's ticker TWLO, Tom, William, Larry, Oscar. At 12 noon Eastern time, they start their shareholders meeting. And Autodesk, that's ticker ADSK, Apple David Sam Kilo. At 6 p.m., they're going to start their shareholders meeting today. In terms of catalyst events that are happening, Cree, that's the light bulb manufacturer, ticker CREE, Charlie Richard Edward. And notice that Deutsche Bank put out a short-term sell idea for the stock. So it's kind of negative for the stock this morning. So I'd be a little cautious with shares of Cree today.
Moving into our trade talk picks for today. On pick one I spoke about, Blackstone, ticker BX. The company is, as we've talked about, is near closing a deal to acquire Soho China. It's a $3 billion company. And although normally when a company buys another one, the company that purchases would actually go down a few points, Blackstone's been hot. If you look at how much they've been going up, they've been on the up and up. And this just really seems like a hot deal for them. So I would imagine at least going into that deal that they might see a bump in their stock price. So that's my pick. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
You know, Shane, I'm going with Applied Materials. That's ticker AMAT, AMAT. This is cautious because I do think that we're going to see a sell-off in the tech when the Fed announces their policy statement today at 2 o'clock. But prior to then, I'm positive on it. I think this chip wiring announcement that they made this morning is going to be really positive. I think that it is the type of story that is a catalyst story that can create value and make people want to, and one that actually will create momentum in the stock. So I am going with AMAT. I'm going to be cautious here. I really want to get in at a little under 270, but that's my pick for today. AMAT, Apple, Michael, Apple, Tom.
Moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. That'll be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, Bill, seeing our headlines coming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Steel Dynamics, that's ticker STLD. Sam, Tom, Larry, David. Company came out and they say that they see strong demand for steel that's going to result in good earnings in the second quarter.
Magna Chip, ticker MX, has fallen over 7% in pre-market on CFIUS order for merger delay.
Moderna, that's ticker mRNA, Michael Richard, Nancy Apple. They announced that the U.S. government has purchased 200 million doses of its COVID-19 vaccine. Salesforce.com, that's ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary. They announced a 7-year partnership as the official team partner of Team USA for the Olympics.
Diageo, ticker DEO, has become the first ever official spirit sponsor of the NFL.
Morgan Stanley raised their price target on Nike from 172 to 185. Here's one on Amazon. Amazon Fresh, that grocery store division, they're announcing their Just Walk Out, which is technology to allow customers the option to just walk out of the grocery stores with like a grab and go style.
American Tower Corp, ticker AMT, will be acquiring a 10% stake in ATC Europe.
See a number of Oracle, that's ticker ORCL, Oscar, Richard, Charlie, Larry. I see a number of brokers are raising their price targets after last night's earnings report.
One on Regeneron, ticker REGN. Data from a larger UK trial could ease conflict and allow Regeneron's COVID-19 antibody to be used in far sicker patients. Anything else for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind, you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Boeing, ticker BA. It opened at $245.36 and went as high as $248.26 for a 1.18% gain. From there, the stock slowly trickled back down to the closing price of $246.54. Still higher, but the over 1% move was one that you would have made around 3:30, just a little bit before the close. And yeah, it ended up being a good move for us. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I typically stick to earnings plays, and the earnings plays are really weak right now because nobody's really reporting. But KR was a miss. It opened up at 38.40 and closed at 37.87. Missed by about 1%. It dropped by about 1%. Earnings are due out later today. I do think they're going to be good. I do think you're going to see some good movement in Kroger on the earnings, but I was expecting a little bit more of a momentum yesterday in anticipation of this earnings beat today.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.